friends, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So this reading vlog I'm excited about because it's going to be a mixture of a weekday and weekend vlog. We are in town, we are at home, we have some fun plans with some friends, but I'm also really looking forward to my TBR. So truth be told, my attention span has been this long. It's that of an ant. So I decided to approach the strategy for this reading vlog to just read short books so I can feel motivated, like I'm making progress, and 3 books that I just really feel like I'm going to like, but they're all really short. I think each one might in fact be under 300 pages. So definitely a departure from what I normally read, which is like 400 to 500, 600 page books. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the books I hope to read. Here are the short books that are on my TBR. First, we have Nettle and Bone, which is a dark fairy tale-esque fantasy story. Very short, but from what I can tell from the synopsis, I feel like I'm going to really love it. It just really seems to be my vibe. It's about a girl going on a quest to try to save her sister. She is joined by a disgraced knight and a fairy godmother, and she must achieve some impossible tasks. I also have The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I really love this author. I've read her other 2 releases and I'm really been wanting to get to her newer release, which came out in April. Also short, and just how Emily St. John Mandel's writing works. It's just like a bunch of different POVs that bleed into each other. And I always read her books super quickly. This, I want to say, takes place over the span of like hundreds of years, from an expedition to the Vancouver Island to the moon, which sounds very interesting. And then lastly, I have A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. This is another character-focused story, but instead following on a record executive who used to be in a punk rock band and his troubled assistant, and I think a variety of characters that surround them in the workplace. I've been wanting to read a Jennifer Egan book for years. And I felt like this was a good place to start. It also won the Pulitzer Prize, so, you know, no biggie. But these are the books I hope to read for this vlog. Some literary fiction, but still some fantasy, all short. So I'm hoping to really have a lot to read and a lot to say. I still have some work to get done before I can sit down and start reading. I have my afternoon cup of coffee. Clay and I and some friends are actually doing a trivia night tonight, which is really fun. So I'm really trying to stay productive and ahead. Matilda, can you see her there, has found her sunspot. So she is being very productive as well. We'll for sure be getting some reading done tonight. Also have some exciting like home stuff happening. We have some big furniture deliveries occurring in here. We have a new couch coming. I have a new rug. So this room is gonna get a bit more spice added, if you will. So I'm looking forward to documenting and showing that as well. But anyway, cheers, welcome to the vlog. I need to get back to it, but just wanted to talk about my TBR. It's time to move the couch and lay down. There's Millie, the new rug. Camera died, but woo, look at the new rug. Matilda is a fan. I've spent an agonizing amount of time trying to get this thing centered, but here we are. So funny to be reading on this couch, but in this front room, I think this couch definitely fits nicely in here. Definitely provides more reading space. We'll also give Millie more space to stare out the window. We do have a new couch coming for this front room, and we do want to put a chair out here, but it's not coming for a long time. So this will be amazing. And then, hello Matilda. And then again, here is this empty family room with the new rug. I'm kind of like losing it a bit about the placement of the rug. Like I feel like it should be centered, but obviously this room is super rectangular. So I've kind of opted for this, and then like this desk area kind of has its own situation going on. I almost wonder if I should pull it over a bit more. But I'm really happy with the rug. It's actually softer than I was expecting, which is a good thing. It's wool. And I think it's really pretty. I love the checkerboard. The new couch has arrived. I've already covered it with like every blanket under the sun for Matilda and for me basically. But it's so comfortable, it's so cozy, and really makes this room just like the perfect TV watching room. It's honestly very hard to be productive. I also shifted my messy desk over here to this wall to kind of give this area a bit more space, and I think that's working a bit better. And we're gonna move this room to the front room. But I'm so pleased. I need to give you guys a reading update because I have started, let me see. Because I have started Nettle and Bone, and I'm honestly really liking it. This book is so weird, so strange, the perfect like windy fairy tale quest-esque story that I really enjoy. I've just been dealing with like furniture delivery and stuff and kind of getting my space situated, but I plan to read basically all afternoon, and I honestly cannot wait. But I've read the first like 30 pages of this book, and it's so good. It basically opens with our main character Mara, and she's building a dog out of bones. From there, it kind of explains that this is one of the tasks that she's been given to help save her sister. We flash backwards in time following Mara as she's sort of grown up in this middle kingdom between two powerful princes, and her older sisters are given to one of the princes as their wife. The first sister dies, and the second sister is now kind of trapped there, and Mara has decided that she is going to save her and that she is not going to let her second sister's fate end up like the first. So that is why she's taking on these like impossible tasks to try to save her. The writing is eerie. It gives the feeling of like a stop motion movie, you know? Like, does that make sense? Like a sort of peculiar, strange, but highly atmospheric experience, very visual, and I'm really invested immediately. The book is so short, so I'm actually hoping to read the whole thing today. But it's really gripping, so I feel like I'm gonna fly through it. But wanted to give you a reading update. I haven't been able to do as much reading as I wanted to, but I feel like I'm finally much more settled, so we're gonna get more reading done. Lunch is served. Turkey Club sandwiches for life. Hi friends, so Matilda and I have just been snuggled up on the couch, and I'm happy to report I've read 100 pages of Nettle and Bone. Honestly, this is one of those books for me. It's like I read it and it's so perfectly my taste. It almost like I'm jealous I didn't write it, you know? Like sometimes you just come across books like that because you're like, this is just so my vibe. It almost hurts, but I'm obsessed. And I feel like with how short this book is, it's packing such the punch. So because this book is so short, even though I've only read about 100 pages, I've read about 50% of the book, so I've really started to get to like the meat of the story, and structurally I'm really enjoying how the book is written. So it's non-linear, at least in the beginning in the exposition. We're following our main character Mara as she's in the midst of like her second task. So in the synopsis, we know that she's trying to save her sister. We know that she was given 3 impossible tasks to get kind of the tools she needs to be able to save her sister. Well, the book opens and she's in the midst of task 2, and then we have a variety of flashbacks as she's sort of growing up in her kingdom, interacting with her sister in her new home a few times, and then coming to the realization that she needs to do something to try to save her, to be the hero that no one else in her life is willing to be. And then we kind of snap back into her different tasks that she's given by this magical individual to be able to help her. Going into the book, I thought these tasks would be like the whole story, but it's definitely the exposition. We're kind of running through them quickly, but it works so well. Also, I feel like this book is so dark, but it also has just like strange moments of humor that work so well with the narrative style. And we're seeing Mara kind of get her sort of companions for the real like heart of the story, which is the actual quest to go and hopefully save her sister. And it's an unusual group of companions, including a chicken that has a demon inside of it. And it's just like the perfect combination of bizarre, whimsical, and magical with just like some really traditional trappings like this sort of quest and tasks that need to be accomplished. So the story feels familiar, but the execution is both really well done and wholly very unique as well, which is just like the most comforting style of read, at least for me. This book is a vibe. This book is a vibe. It could be an incredible movie. Oh, truly. But yeah, I've read 100 pages. I'm gonna sit down now and read another 50 pages and then take a bit of a break for the evening. But I'm loving the first book I've picked up, which is great because I feel like my attention span is like this, as I keep saying. So this really caught my attention right away, which was exactly what I needed. Perfect meal comprised of leftovers. Love to see it. It's time for Attorney Woo, and I saved myself my raspberry noosa to enjoy. It's gonna be the most perfect night. Good morning, everyone. Matilda is sitting in her seat enjoying her window view, and I am just sitting and finishing up Nettle and Bone, which I can honestly say I'm so obsessed with. This sort of motley crew of characters. It's endearing, it's funny, it's charming, but it has such a good plot too. I'm obsessed, truly. Very, very obsessed. I am dressed, I'm really obsessed with these jeans. They're new and they fit me like a glove. We love to see it. I also finished Nettle and Bone this morning, so we're gonna sit down and chat about it now. I loved this book. Hi. So I wanted to talk about Nettle and Bone because I adored this book. This story is not long at all. I want to say it is 240 pages, but the ride of the story, I felt so connected. The characters, just everything about it completely drew me in, and I found it to be utterly charming while still kind of having the fantasy ambiance, the quest, all of that shenanigans. So again, at the heart of the story, we follow our main character Mara as she's trying to save her sister from a very unfortunate political situation where she's married to a very powerful prince and he's abusive and she's held captive. The book opens on Mara trying to accomplish these tasks, as I've already described, but the real meat of the book is her really going on this immediate quest to go and confront her sister's captor and just try to change the situation she's in. What's charming about this story is that along the way, she collects like unlikely individuals who want to help her and come along on her journey. We have the Dust Wife who's able to like commune with and raise the dead. We have a godmother, which I really love that sort of spin on magic users in this world, like kind of like the idea of like a fairy godmother who are usually able to provide blessings when kids are born, like a blessing of health, a blessing of good fortune, a blessing of strength, those types of things. But on the flip side, they can also give curses. So we follow a character named Agnes who joins along, who is a godmother. Lastly, we have Fenris, who's kind of like a disgraced knight, and this sort of motley crew of people begin to work with each other, and just their interactions, their personalities, it's so charming. This book has such a great hold on humor. It's endearing. You just really fall in love with everyone you're reading, but the actual quest is really gripping as well. It's dark. Like the overall idea of the story is obviously not a light one, and it doesn't really stray away from trying to show the reality of that. It also tries to showcase like different strengths in women too. Like there's a dynamic nature of all of the female characters in this story, some of them good, some of them bad. And overall, I just found this book to be so enjoyable. It also means I've read 240 pages so far for this vlog, and I do have the next book I plan to read. I'm gonna start it this afternoon once I finish up my work. But that is going to be The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I'm really excited to finally pick this new release up. I feel like I'll be able to read it really quickly, just kind of like looking at the structure of the book. But I really love Emily St. John Mandel's writing. I'm hoping this will be a knockout for the year in terms of, I have pretty high expectations, so we'll see how I feel about it once I actually begin to read it. But this is my next read and I'm really excited. And lunch is served. What are you so mad about, girlfriend? Matilda is just being the coziest queen. She has definitely barely moved from this spot in the past 24 hours, which is great. Applaud it, applaud it. If anything, I bought this couch for Matilda and Matilda only. I've gotten some really good work in. I'm actually gonna pour myself a cup of coffee and start the Sea of Tranquility, which I'm really excited about. So that's the plan for right now. Get good reading in and then maybe watch some Real Housewives of Orange County, because I did start that rewatch and it's been spectacular. So anyway, that is the plan for this afternoon. I will keep you guys posted as I actually get started on my next book. Coffee and reading time on this Friday afternoon. Ready to enjoy. This table is a lot more practical with a couch than how I had it before. But I'm so excited our new couch in here. It doesn't come for many months. I feel like I've already told you about this, but it's a fun color, which I think will add even more color to this house, which we love. I'm back on this very couch. I've read 50 pages. This book reads so fast. It's so engaging, which is not unexpected given how fast I generally read Emily St. John Mandel's books. Just the shifting of narrative and like all these disparate storylines. She creates this air of mystery and almost like anxiety. There's a feeling of tension because you feel like everything is leading towards something, but you can't quite place it. And each book is unique in terms of like the direction of this something, if you will. The story opens in 1912 and we follow one of our main characters, Edwin, and he is, let's just say, a society boy. He grew up in a rich family, but he is like this middle son of a rich family, so he's not going to inherit anything. He's very educated, but he has obviously basically no life skills at all, no practical skills. He has like liberal viewpoints, but he also has no real world experience and is still kind of like going against his own liberal viewpoints for his own gain, if that makes sense. At the beginning of the story, he leaves England and travels to Canada to kind of like strike it out on his own. Again, he's like likable, but he's also kind of clueless, if you know what I mean. He makes it all the way across Canada and he ends up in Vancouver Island in a small community, and he's very listless. He doesn't really know what to do. And that's sort of just his intro, and then something very mysterious happens that goes from like just backstory on this character to eerie really fast, and then boom, we shift to another perspective, a character set in 2020 in New York City. She has a small connection to a character from The Glass Hotel, and I am still kind of in her chapters, but she's just trying to like understand like what's happened to this previous character, and I think she's gonna go on her own journey. But again, there's this like eeriness that's bleeding through all of these chapters, which is very mysterious, and I'm very curious about it. I definitely feel like the atmosphere is ripe from the beginning. Like there is this like supernatural-esque like weirdness sort of going on. I don't know if that's the case, but you just kind of get this feeling that like something is off, and you get that feeling right away, and it's persisting through time and through different character point of views, which is working very successfully. I'm probably going to be very vague in my explanation of this book because it's so short and character focused, and I don't really want to ruin or spoil anything, but the vibes are definitely there. I'm very engaged and I'm very curious to see where this book is going to end up. I know we span a significant amount of time throughout this book, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm also liking it, at least initially, more than The Glass Hotel, which is also super cool. But anyway, 50 pages have been read. I've read now 300 pages for this vlog. I will read this book so fast. A quick little Thai feast ahead of our game night tonight. A solid session. In bed, but tonight was so fun. We played all sorts of games, lots of code names, lots of chronology, and overall just hung out. It was great. Now though, I'm in bed with Matilda, who is so sleepy. She had a big social evening as well. Really loves being around some people. But now I'm going to read more of The Sea of Tranquility, which, again, gripping, very eerie, it has this ambiance of like something's off, and I'm excited to figure out what exactly that is. I'm feeling like I could get a good amount read tonight, finish it tomorrow because the book is very short, and then start my third book for the vlog. I will say reading short books has been very successful in helping my reading from an attention span point of view. It just feels overall less daunting when I have to sit down and the book is only like 285 pages long versus like 500. I just feel like I'm making more progress, which is helping me stay motivated. Usually I don't have this problem, but right now I do. So I'm happy it's working out. Hi friends, good morning. Cheers. Actually made incredible progress on Sea of Tranquility. I'm really liking it. It's definitely more of like a sci-fi leaning story. It has a lot of concepts on like reality. There's aspects of technology I wasn't really expecting, but again, like the heart and the style of the book stays consistent, but it's definitely really pulled me in. I'd love to finish it this morning, but today we have a task at hand, and that is backyard chores. Lots of weeding needs to be done, and I'm trying to get out there before it becomes like 100 degrees literally shortly. So it's all about getting up and out. I'm in Texas when it comes to outside chores, so that is what we're working on this AM. And then I'm gonna finish Sea of Tranquility, and I'll give you like more of an in-depth update. And then I also want to start a visit from the Goon squad today as well. That's my goal. But I'm honestly making pretty good progress with these short books. I'm reading them really fast, which I'm happy with. I'm happy that my strategy for lack of attention span is working. We love when that happens. But anyway, I'm gonna stop procrastinate. I'm gonna get changed into some outdoor clothing, and we're gonna get started. 2 hours of lawn work later, I am covered in dirt, but the backyard is looking so much better. We cleaned out all the beds. Clay's just picking up some of the tools. A very productive morning, I would say, and now we can bask in the glory of our success and just relax. And I'm planning on reading, watching some TV. I think we're gonna get some celebratory donuts. What more could you want? Breakfast tacos and donuts to celebrate a job well done. I feel like a mega sloth right now, but we had our tacos. I watched some Real Housewives of Orange County, but now I'm actually gonna sit down and finish my book, Sea of Tranquility. But before I did, I wanted to give you like a more official reading update. This book is really interesting. It definitely has more of like a sci-fi setting than I feel like I've encountered with Emily St. John Mandel's books before. And I think it's because of the topic she's more centering, which is like, one, we are through various points of view set pretty far in the future from like her viewpoint of the future of humanity and like where we're going next in outer space and just the evolution of certain technology and how all of that still can be tied back to like human existence and reality itself, which I think is pretty cool. With this sort of sci-fi element, you get this immediate feeling of unease, which I kind of already talked about with the first point of view, but through each chapter, through each like character you're reading from, you just feel like something is like slightly off, and trying to figure out like what exactly that is really, for me at least, the driving force of like what's propelling me through this story. It feels like almost thriller-esque in that way, which I think is cool, but it still very much has like a very character forward literary fiction style. But I think the combination of these two things is proving to be very effective. I'm trying to be very vague because I really don't want to spoil anything. I feel like this book is to be experienced, but I think with each point of view kind of pushing us further and further and further and further into the future is an interesting choice. And I also like that we're through these like snippets of these experiences through these characters, we see this larger picture, sort of cross-referencing everyone else's experiences, but each individual character we're sitting with, we're only getting such a small picture of their life. And I think that like kind of messes with my brain in like a good way. It scratches my brain. But I've read 150 pages so far. I'm gonna sit down and read the last 100. Actually, I think it's like not even 100. I think it's more like, no, it's about 100 pages left. So I think I'll be able to read it quickly. This book reads snappy. And then again, my plan is to start a visit from the Goon squad tonight, and that there's the plan. I just put on a fresh cup of coffee. I've just been an absolute potato on the couch with Matilda. I'm trying to decide if I want to read in the family room or stay out here, like what would I be less likely to fall asleep? In fact, I think if I go back to the family room on that giant comfortable couch, I will fall asleep. So I'm gonna hang out here, finish my book, bask in the glory of all of that successful yard work that Clay and I did this morning. I keep looking outside and just going, it looks so good. It makes me feel like an old man, but I'm like so chuffed with all of my weeding and like raking I did today. Fabulous. But anyway, time to read. Finished. I really liked this. I think I liked this more than The Glass Hotel. Ooh, it made me think. It also had some very meta moments. Obviously with just some of the topics, like meta moments that any reader of this would be able to feel. Like there's lots of conversations in this about pandemics. And even just there's like meta moments for like the author itself. There's like a writer who writes about pandemics, and that's like one of the points of view we're reading from. But the journey of this was windy. It was clever. Couldn't say I could guess anything, any of the sci-fi elements as well. But like more than that, like the writing was beautiful. I thought it was insightful. It really got me thinking. And I don't know, for a short book, packed a punch for sure. And I really liked it quite a bit. And I finished it. Which also means I think I've read 500 pages so far for this vlog, which is great news. And both the books were honestly like incredible. So that also feels amazing as well. And now I think I'm going to regress from reading this very intellectual, thoughtful book about like life and living and all of those things, and go watch the reunion of the Real Housewives of the OC, because sometimes you just gotta mix your media, you know? You gotta live different experiences to appreciate its different flavors, you know? But anyway, that's my plan, so I am off. Life is all about balance, and I just love the Real Housewives. What can I say? Interrupting my TV watching because I'm actually going to make dinner. I'm making this lemony, cheesy orzo pasta, and I also have some leftover roast chicken, which I also made from this cookbook that I'm just gonna put on top. Should be fast and easy and hopefully very, very tasty. Lemon cheesy pasta, looking delicious, and some roast chicken to top. Starting a visit from the Goon squad, but only after I watch one more episode of Attorney Woo. Matilda says it's required for her to have, you know, a restful evening, so that's what we're doing. Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I just wanted to quickly pop in and wrap up all 3 books I was able to read for this vlog. Starting off with the book I just started, which is A Visit from the Goon Squad. I was actually able to read 100 pages of this book basically right away. I have found it to be engaging, interesting, complex, right off the bat, and I don't really know where it's going. I'm honestly not surprised that I'm liking this book so much because I'm a huge fan of like a large cast of characters with points of views that sort of bleed into one another with like an unclear trajectory of like where the story itself is going. So far, we are jumping forward and back in time and following characters that almost seem to have like sometimes just a passing connection to the previous character or previous characters that we've read from, or a really deep connection that hasn't perhaps been explored for many years, or they're really close as it stands. There's just a lot of different characters, and it's very fascinating how it's been put together. A lot of the characters also have a very destructive tendency, and it's very fascinating to run into different characters in different points in their life. I do feel like I'm rambling, but I wouldn't even say there's like a clear main character. It's more like an experience to be had. The synopsis does point out 2 characters that we have run into. The first is Benny, who's like an aging record executive and also his assistant Sasha. But again, the story branches out in really wild directions, following so many different people, past and present. And what I think is really fascinating and what the author has done so far is that we experience characters' own view of themselves, and then also what other characters view them at different points in their life. And they can be really like non-compatible, because obviously like your own viewpoint of yourself, positive or negative, could not be reflective of someone else who might be in love with you or might hate you. So there's like all these different shades of people that we get through different characters, which is just a really cool experience. I really like how music tends to be pretty central in this, like the punk scene has been like consistent throughout this as well. And it's just really fascinating, reads quickly, and I'm just really drawn in by the entire experience. Like, it's funny, it's dark, it's really got me thinking. I'm really liking this book, and I plan to finish it, I think, in the next day or two. Quite the ride. And then obviously the other two books, which I'm just going to quickly mention, is first Nettle and Bone, which I loved. This is a dark and charming fantasy quest story, short, but I feel like packs quite the punch. And then also I have The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. All in all, I read over 600 pages, which I am completely jazzed with, and my strategy of reading short books really paid off. I also read 2 literary fiction novels I enjoyed so much. Honestly re-inspires me, or reaffirms just how much I love the literary fiction genre. I read more of it last month too, and I'm just wanting to continue the habit through the rest of the year. But nonetheless, really liked all 3 books I read. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.